Hi everyone, how you all doing? So my name is Salsabil. I'm Palestinian. I was born in Palestine in a city called Hebron, Al-Khalil, if anyone's been. But I moved here, or my family and I were exiled from Palestine at the age of 2. I was age 2. And we made it here, Scotland, and it's been my home for the last over 30 years. I love Scotland, but obviously I long for my home, Palestine. And it's a place I never really got to see, unfortunately, or experience. I've heard a lot of stories through my grandparents and my parents, and my grandparents obviously survived the Nakba, and there's stories that they told us before the whole Nakba happened, just so beautiful, and just I have a lot of beautiful memories of my grandparents or my parents telling me beautiful stuff of Palestine, but unfortunately, in the last couple of years, it's been hard to see anything positive come out from there. It's been really heartbreaking. But anyway, I'm here to share some stories with you, not some poems with you. I've been writing poetry actually since I was 16, but honestly, it never left my bedroom at all. Rory was asking me earlier, and I said, I've been writing them to myself. But after October, it's just something inside me. I just all that anger, that sadness, that heartbreak, I had to get it out somehow. And it was through my poetry. And I felt compelled to share it because I knew a lot of people, especially Palestinians in the diaspora, would feel similar to me. And I think I wanted that connection. So here I am today sharing that. So start off, I've got a few poems that I want to share. First one is called After the Storm, and it was the most recent poem that I wrote. And when we think of privilege, we think of like food or shelter or warmth that we have, but we forget that grief is a privilege. Here in Edinburgh, if we lose someone today, you get to take time off work or your life, you get to pause life and go grieve in whichever way you need to grieve. People in Palestine, people in Gaza didn't get to do that. In the last 2.5 years, they've been consistently bombarded, and they have to get up and move on or try to flee or try to find security or food or shelter or whatever it is. They've not had the privilege to grieve. And it's just so sad, and it's just another way to think about privilege. So this is After the Storm. There's silence in the air, for the people are counting their dead. There's silence, for people are finally taking a deep breath. There's silence. They're finding the heads, the arms, the legs. There's silence. Their silence is so loud, it's piercing my head. They don't want anything. They want to build the schools, the hospital, make all the beds. My silence is anger. I will never forgive or forget. We're going to write on every inch of this land with our blood. So when spring comes along, poppies will grow, olives will spread, oranges will glow, and you can smell za'atar wherever you go. And their silence will build their homes. For mourning in peace turned out to be a privilege they didn't know. So like I said, I've heard such beautiful stories about my land, Palestine, and I didn't get to experience that. I got to visit 5 years ago for 3 days with my brother and sister and my son, and it was the most amazing, surreal experience because we got to go to Jerusalem, and everywhere you turn around, obviously there's the Israeli soldiers blocking your entry to the mosque or or asking you ridiculous questions. But that was my experience. So it was very kind of surreal because it was such a magical, holy place. But then you turn around and you see, there's Israeli soldiers. But I would love my kids to experience that. And I would love to go home and for them to feel and to go back to where my grandparents come from, a village called Zarnuqa. It's a very small village near Jerusalem. And they have land there, and we're farmers, and my grandparents used to always tell us about them, farming and just the beauty of the land and the smell of the oranges. So I would love my kids to experience that, and I'd love to experience that. So this poem is called Home. It's a bit more optimistic because I don't feel optimistic often. But I wrote it after the first ceasefire in January a couple of years ago. I don't know why I actually had a little bit of hope, thinking that Israel would actually keep to that ceasefire, but we know what happened and the heartbreak after that. But this is home. What if we never left? What if we never got to face all this death? We could have lived among the olives and the figs, listening to the birds sing. What if we kept our homes and our keys, dancing to the sound of leaves? We could be walking among the markets of Khalil, swimming in the waters of Yafa, dancing in Jenin. What if we never left? My kids would have known your streets, would have known everything. We wouldn't be watching you from our screens. So my second youngest, Lena, so she was 2.5 when this genocide started in Gaza. And all she knows about Gaza is death and rubble and killing. And it's really, really sad because there's so much more to Palestine than this. We have such a beautiful culture, through singing, our art, our poetry, our language. I'm a bit biased, obviously, but it really is so beautiful. We love to share it. A lot of people ask me, like, what can we do to help Palestine? We're people of pride. It's not just money that we need or want, because our land is so fertile. We don't need anything. We don't need help. We can sustain our own land if we were left to it. Unfortunately, we don't. But, initiatives like this, the Samud, the flotillas, the Madleens, this is all support. It's not just charity. And it's so important to come together, on a day like this and share our stories and listen to Palestinian stories, because we do have voices. It's not that we need somebody to give us a voice. We have our voices. We just need people to listen. So this last poem, it's called If Only It Was a Dream. And it's a little bit difficult for me to get through it. Hopefully I can, because it's quite raw and very emotional. I haven't even started. I don't know about anyone else, but I dream a lot. I have a very active brain in the daytime, and my brain never stops at nighttime. And I have a lot of vivid dreams, and I dream a lot of mundane stuff about everyday life, just work or kids or whatever it is. So I actually thought I would dream about Gaza a lot more than I thought I did, because it was all consuming, especially after October. All I watched was the horrific images that we saw on our screens. So I thought I would sleep and just dream about Gaza and the nightmares, but I think my brain protected me and I didn't. But when I did, it was powerful. It really felt so real. So this is If Only It Was a Dream. I dream about everything in my life, my work, my family, everything I do. I thought I would dream about Gaza too. So after 560 days and after I cried myself to sleep one day, I dreamt I was there. As a mother running from place to place, hiding my kids, trying to stay safe. I felt it all. The bombs dropping, the rubbles everywhere, trying to find my family. Nobody was there. I was pregnant in real life and in my dream too, but my baby was gone. The pain and the blood everywhere. I said to God, please God, take me instead. Leave my kids, take them somewhere safe, somewhere they can be kids instead. The smell was intense. I can still feel the air between my hair, my numb body trying to scream. The debris so thick I could barely see. Bodies hanging, heads scattered around. Then I woke up in a gasp, clenching my throat. I couldn't believe how real it felt. If only it was a dream. And I'm sure so many mothers, so many people just wish if only all this nightmare in Gaza, if only it was a dream. Thank you so much.